Hi guys, welcome to my videos. So guys, in this video I am going to talk about something really important. This is about eligibility of spouse open work permit holders for traveling to Canada at this time. So before I proceed further, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please go and subscribe right now. So guys, I would like to say please watch this video full very carefully because I am going to touch various aspects of this really important topic. So guys, spouse open work permit, like it can be granted if your spouse is working in Canada under NOC O, A or B category, or a study permit holder. So what happens is, like, lot of people, those who have gone through, like the first person who reported this to me was a subscriber who had a spouse open work permit, and when she was traveling to Canada she had a job letter, so she went through without an authorization. I will show you the links and information, and there's a lot of confusion over there. That is why I'm coming up after doing some extensive work on this topic to show you exactly what it is and where the confusion is and how the things are like jumbled up. So I'm gonna come one by one. So the first thing I'm gonna show you, one of my subscribers um, claimed that his brother, he traveled to Canada on 24th of November, and he just had this spouse open work permit. His spouse is a student here in Canada, and when he was asked to show the job letter, he said at the airport, because he is holding an open work permit, so he does not have a job offer. He had the quarantine plan, he had the documents of his spouse, and he was ultimately allowed to board in. So many people in this scenario may report that this was not done to them. Okay. Now other thing, some of the people, those who hold a spouse open work permit, they applied for authorization to Canada, they have been refused. Many have been approved as well. But in two cases, I saw something really different, and that triggered me to do detailed investigation in this matter. Like one of my subscribers from Myanmar, I won't take her name, but she is writing so many comments, so some of you may find her. Like she sent an email um, for authorization, and the response she got was stating that she does not need an authorization. That shocked me. I thought it could be like a human mistake. A similar response was received by another subscriber when she did an MP inquiry. But because of a lot of confusion, she has reapplied. She hasn't decided her plans yet. So that is the moment when I triggered. So how I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna show you information on IRCC site where the confusion is and how it is written, so that you can take a call. And still, like, anybody who is standing at the airport and reading the guidelines could get confused. So even after going through this, you may encounter unexpected situations. So be careful guys, and it's your call, so take the decision accordingly. So I'm gonna start showing. So first we will cover spouse open work permit for a temporary work permit holder. Okay, and then we'll go for students. All right. So guys, this page is like who can travel to Canada. If you scroll down this page, like first you have immediate family, like foreign nationals who are eligible to travel. Then you have immediate family members of citizen, PR, extended family members, foreign national authorized to come for compassionate reasons, and then you have all other foreign nationals. Now here we need to go one by one to understand, and as I said in the start of the video, please make sure you watch it carefully and full. To be eligible, you must meet one of the following requirements. You must be traveling directly from the US for a non-discretionary purpose. We'll not go into that. That's something else. You must be exempt from travel restrictions and be traveling for a non-discretionary purpose. So let's say somebody is coming from India, then in that case the second point is valid in his or her case. Now travelers coming from outside the US who are exempt from travel restrictions, temporary foreign workers, some international students, and some people who are approved to become permanent resident of Canada and immediate family authorization, do not be temporary residents, and transiting passengers and there are all sort of such criteria. We don't need to go into the details, but we are interested in first two. We know that immediate family members of temporary resident, they can apply authorization and they can come, so we'll not even discuss these two topics, but these two topics first are very interesting: temporary foreign workers and some international students. Let's go with temporary foreign workers. So you have information for temporary if you're outside Canada, if you're outside Canada, then so as a temporary worker, you are exempt from travel restrictions if you are coming for a non-discretionary purpose. So before we understand what it is, we need to find out non-discretionary purpose. This is really important. So what is non-discretionary travel? This is really important. Non-discretionary travel refers to travel for reasons that are non-optional. Okay, as a worker, your travel is non-discretionary if you are in either of these two situations. You have a valid work permit and normally live in Canada. This applies even if you have been laid off. You are a worker, that means all of the following. You have a letter of introduction for a work permit. Open or employee specific, anything, has a valid job offer, can work when enter Canada. 14 days quarantine. 14 days quarantine is anyway mandatory in every case. Now see here, you have open and valid job letter. So like if somebody is granted let's say open work permit or spouse open work permit is a kind of temporary work permit, temporary resident permit, so they fall under this. So that is why, like, if you have a valid job offer and you have an open work permit, you are allowed. You don't need any authorization, you can go, fine. But if you scroll down here, you have a section how to bring your family members with you. Okay, now this is really important and understand it very carefully. But yes, again, I will show you how it, like, because of the text here, as you can see that some text I read here and some more text is here, how it can create confusion. How to bring your family members with you. Your immediate family members may be able to come with you to Canada. They can travel to Canada if they meet one of these conditions. They are traveling directly from the US for a non-discretionary purpose. Non-discretionary purpose, we read here, like, first, or they should have a valid job offer. Okay, they have a written authorization from IRCC to reunite with a temporary resident of Canada, so authorization. But see, third one, they have a letter of introduction for an open work permit. That means, let's say if you have been granted a closed work permit and your spouse is approved for an open work permit, then out of these three, she still meets this point number 3. So that means, even without, correct me if I'm wrong, even without as per the text that you see on the official IRCC site, even without a valid job offer or an authorization letter, she should be allowed to come, correct? This is what, right? Because out of these three, one condition needs to be met. So even if they're coming from US and have an open work permit, they should be allowed to. So, and if they have an authorization, okay, fine, go ahead. If they have a job offer letter, then it's not discretionary purpose and there's another thing. But now this is, but like we have seen, like at airports, border, there's so much of confusion. Like, even I read the story of someone who had even authorization to travel, but still she was denied by Air India. So there's so much of confusion and all going on everywhere. So this is the point I really wanted to discuss. Like, if you have an authorization or job offer letter, either of these, you can go. But here is one more catch. Now, if you so if you are still, like, going to the airport in this situation, then make sure you explain it well. Again, it's going to be your call, because some people have been denied, they have updated on social media. So I cannot say how it's gonna be reacted by the officer, because there's so much of confusion as you can read through it. Like they may say it's non-discretionary or whatever, but there is a sub point here that still allows you to travel. So after a lot of investigation, lot of things I have found, I have come to this information and I'm sharing it with you so that you can really understand. And I said, watch this video still full. Okay, all right, so this we watched. This for like how to bring family with you, like if you are on temporary worker. So temporary worker means like if you are at NOC O, A or B category, your spouse can be granted an open work permit. And then as per this official link as of today, then it can work, because they still meet one of these conditions. Now this is for people, but this open work permit, you know that it's only applicable if your spouse is under NOC O, A or B. Now we'll go ahead and check for students. That is how I was telling you guys that it's not so simple and a lot of things are going on. That's why I wanted to discuss this in full details with you. So still I'm telling you, watch this in full. Don't stop, don't change it now. Watch it. For international students, travel exemptions and restrictions for international students. Okay, so for international students, we know that there was a separate update. Like if your institutions are as you can see, if your institution is the list of DLIs with approved COVID-19 readiness plan, you can travel. Okay, but yes, you need proper documents like valid visa and all other things. That's fine. Okay, but again the question arrives, like what about your immediate family member? Because that is what we are discussing now, because even your immediate family member for most of the students are eligible for an open work permit. So let's go through this very carefully and see. Remember, if an authorization is there or if a valid job offer is there, then it's absolutely fine. But if not, let's see if there is any clause that can be utilized now. If immediate family member want to be with you in Canada, may be able to come with you if they travel with you. So if they travel with you, they don't need a written authorization from IRCC to travel with you. However, they must show that their reasons for travel are non-discretionary. Now again, here you have so much of confusion, because earlier in this video we checked what do you mean by non-discretionary travel. So suppose like you applied for a study permit and you had good marriage history and you applied for your spouse open work permit together and both of you have been approved. Now here comes the real situation. Now both of you are planning to travel together. So as per this information, they don't need a written authorization. Let's say your institution is under approved DLI list with COVID-19 readiness plan. So you are allowed to go. But about your spouse, they don't need a written authorization from IRCC to travel with you. However, they must show their reason for travel are non-discretionary, non-optional. For example, they will help you get established and support you in Canada. Now, the confusion here I have is, and most of you will have, like earlier when it was in the section of international, I apologize, temporary work permit holders or work permit holders, foreign national, they had a definition for non-discretionary. Does it mean the same over here? Because in the example section you see they have written they will help you get established and support you in Canada. Okay, so now this is a confusion here. We'll talk about these confusions later, and that is why things are not working like the way it is supposed to be, and that is why I told you at the beginning of the video there are certain confusions, and that is why probably things are not working same in every case. People like are getting different response even to their same situation with IRCC. Like somebody is applying for travel authorization, they are getting the response you don't need. Somebody is applying, somebody getting approved, somebody is applying, getting refused. So there's so much of confusion going on. If your immediate family member will study or work in Canada, you must submit all your applications together when you apply online. If they won't study or work, they still need electronic travel authorization or visitor visa travel. Okay. If they join you later, yes, this is also very important. If you are already in Canada or will travel to Canada by yourself first and your family will join you later, they need to what they need to travel to Canada depends on whether they're traveling for. What they need to join you in Canada. Again, it's coming like if you're coming from US, non-discretionary, then otherwise authorization. So that means if your family is not going along with you as a student, then they need an authorization. But yes, if they have an open work permit, job letter can be obtained, and then it becomes non-discretionary, and then they can go. So you see that there's so much of confusion. Now let me come to summarize. So summary, what we have seen, like if you have a job offer letter or if you have an authorization, you are allowed to go. I'm just covering spouse open work permit. You are allowed to go, no problem at all. Second case, if your a spouse is holding is a temporary worker in Canada under NOC OAB. Why I said NOC OAB? Because if your spouse is working in NOC OAB, you are eligible for an open work permit. So if you have got an open work permit in that case, then as per one of the sub points we discussed, what is written here, you are still allowed to go. Then now for a student, there's so much of confusion here, so much, I would say. They don't need a written authorization from IRS to travel with you. However, they must show that their reasons for travel are non-discretionary, non-optional. For example, so now again this is creating some confusion over here. And if they're not traveling with you, then they need authorization. So that part is a bit clear. Now let's go back to again for temporary workers. We'll go through this non-discretionary once more. Non-discretionary purpose. Non-discretionary refers to travel for reasons that are non-optional. As a worker, your travel is non-discretionary if you are in either of these situations. Valid work permit. Okay. So this is for a worker. Now for student, let's see if they have given any information. Let's check it out. So I don't see anything like that over here. So all right. Okay. So this is all sort of the process. But again, there's a confusion of non-discretionary. Like the example given here was not, in details. So guys, this is the response that even triggered me further to investigate more. So in this comment, one of my subscriber claims that his brother had gone on 24th and the officers asked him for a job letter and he replied, "Sir, I am on open work permit, not any specific one, so I don't need any valid job or letter." He had his quarantine plan with authorization from the owner. Don't confuse it with travel authorization. And he stayed for 14 days and okay, that is what he paid. If you are a spouse of an holder, carry your husband's standard passport, visa, stamped xerox, soft copy, study permit, along with that marriage certificate, nothing else, but be confident while questioning. So he came through Delhi and all this. Okay, but yes, I have no way to verify this information, but I read it, what is written over there. So guys, like now I have done detailed investigation. Lot of things have been discussed now in this video. So guys, as you have seen in the video, that there's so much of confusion about what's going on and every case is different. For students, there is different information. for temporary work permit holders, there is different information. So you need to get it very clearly. Well, the crux of the story is if you have authorization or job offer letter, you don't need anything, you can go. But if you don't have, then you need to be careful. Like, you can read the information, you can understand, and if you are planning to go, you must be really confident. And if I'm going in your situation, I would carry the printouts of these official sites pages as well along with me, so that if any question comes, I produce it right away and then I travel. So this is really very important. And I again thank my subscriber, those who share their information with me. Like, this detailed investigation I have done in past some time, and I've referred a lot of comments, lot of contents based on that. So and that was the moment I found some confusions also, that why in some cases people are getting denied. There have been people who have been denied. Why that happened? Of course, there's no way for me to go back and verify the statements of those people. But at the same time, I mean, I can understand if there is some confusion. Even the person who is standing at the airport, the official, he is also a human being. So mistakes can happen even there as well. So that is what the story is, guys. So I hope you would like this detailed video and share it as much as possible. I really wanted to go back to all the comments that I have got for authorization information, but it's not possible for me to go back and say that I have got more information about this based on what's going on. But you guys can share it, you guys can make it happen. So please go ahead. Thank you.